everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, here with your weekly marijuana market update. Today, I want to take a look at a cannabis company that's been heavily requested in the last few weeks. One person on YouTube asked, is Cronos Group stock a good choice to buy right now? John Doe, love the name, also said this, Cronos Group, thank you. And then M. Mercado also said, Cronos is good. So while I love the pithiness, I also love the feedback as well on our YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. I'm more than happy to dig into Cronos Group. It trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol CRON. Let me take a look at the company itself, its financials, and then its stock picture, and then I'll kind of tell you what my thoughts are after that. The company is an international cannabinoid company based in Canada. It manufactures, markets, and distributes hemp-derived supplements and cosmetic products through e-commerce, retail, and partner organizations. So basically, it makes a lot of CBD products, hemp-derived products that range the gambit from cosmetics to oils to tinctures, things like that. And they sell it on their website, they sell it in retail stores, and they also sell it in third-party stores. They operate both recreational and medical use markets, and they have several brands that are available in various places around the world. Not all of them are located in the U.S., not all of them are located in Canada, so you kind of have to understand what you're looking for and know what's available where. First, you have Peace Naturals. This is billed as the company's high-quality medical cannabis line. It includes vaporizers and oils. It's available in Australia, Canada, Germany, and now Israel. Then you have Cove, which the line is 4 different crafted lines of cannabis ranging from sativa to indica. It also includes a hybrid CBD. Most products are suited for oil, flower, or pen distribution, so you can have a vapor pen. You can use it as traditional, or it is an oil, and it's only available in Canada. Then there are another product they have is called Spinach. It's not the leafy vegetable. It is another cannabis line that includes hybrid sativa and indica lines. It's consumed as oil, rolled, or vapor, and it's primarily available in Canada. Lord Jones, this is the company's primary CBD line. This was kind of their first CBD line. It includes tinctures, infused cosmetics, bath oils, gumdrops, chews, things like that. It is mostly available here in the United States. Happy Dance is another CBD line that includes infused skincare. Now, it is created in partnership with actress Kristen Bell. If you're familiar with Veronica Mars or Dax Shepard, who's her husband, then you know who Kristen Bell is. She helped create this line called Happy Dance. It is available in the U.S. And then you have Peace Plus. These are products that are hemp-derived CBD. They're tinctures that come in a variety of flavors. The line hasn't fully been released yet, but it will be available, the company hopes, in the United States relatively soon. Now, financially, the third quarter was a big quarter for Cronos Group. They appointed Kurt Schmidt as the company's president and CEO, along with Mike Groenstein, who had served in the interim role. He became the executive chairman. And Cronos also announced, like I said, its partnership with Kristen Bell to make the Happy Dance CBD brand. Now, while the partnership with Bell is big news, I want to focus on Schmidt a little bit, joining the management team as the company's CEO. First, let me say this is a really solid hire for Cronos Group. Schmidt worked at companies like Blue Buffalo Company Limited, so think dog food, Nestle SA, chocolate, Gerber, baby food, and Kraft foods like mac and cheese. He brings a ton of experience in growing global consumer brands, and that's something that Cronos is hoping to be one day in terms of cannabis. Financially, the company had a solid third quarter. It reported net revenues of about $11.4 million in the quarter. That's a $5.6 million increase from the same quarter a year ago. Now, that increase was basically driven by continued growth in the Canadian adult use market. They had a reported gross loss of just $1.5 million. That may sound astronomical, but you have to consider they were able to slash their losses in half. It was a $1.6 million decrease from the same quarter a year ago. Cronos grows profits and sales in the U.S. along with net revenues and net revenue increases allowed the company to cut that loss in just a short amount of time. So that's actually good news. It sounds kind of daunting when you say you've got a $1.5 million loss, but if you consider the fact that that was around $3.1 million a year ago, they have cut that loss in half in a very short amount of time. The company's arm in Israel, Cronos Israel, received all the necessary certification from the Israeli government to begin cultivating, producing, and marketing flower, pre-rolls, and oils in Israel. So that's kind of a big thing. They were waiting on that to happen, and it finally happened, I believe, in September. Now, that's the good news. Here's the bad. They reported an operating loss of about $41.2 million in the quarter. That's a $10.5 million increase from the previous year. The main reason is because the company is still paying out separation agreements with former Redwood employees. Redwood was a subsidiary that was lumped into Cronos. Cronos then parted ways with some of those employees, and those employees are still being paid a separation package. This is why they have the additional loss for the quarter. So not necessarily a big thing. One of those things is just kind of the nature of doing business. In looking at the 9 months ending on September 30th of 2020, I found the company's net revenue for operations outside the United States, so this would be Canada, Germany, Australia, Israel, and other locations, was $23.7 million. That's up from $15.6 million the company reported the same period a year ago. So their sales are increasing nicely in markets outside the United States. If you roll in U.S. operations into that, the company's net revenue was about $29.6 million. So they gained about $6 million in revenue from the U.S. In the first 9 months of the year, which isn't bad, but it isn't great. Cronos' one-year annual sales growth rate is about 50.8%, which is actually pretty good. And what that tells me is that Cronos is being very careful about its expansion to the U.S. market. They're not just going guns blazing into the U.S. market. They're trying to scale things in. I think this partnership with Kristen Bell is also a very good thing that could yield some very good results for Cronos in the future. It also tells me that its revenue is tied pretty strongly to Canada, which is not necessarily out of the ordinary, but it's both good and it's a concern. It's good because it suggests the market share is market share in the U.S. There is room for the company to grow exponentially in the U.S., and that market share is something the company should probably aggressively try to go after. However, it's a concern because the Canadian cannabis market is really saturated. There are a lot of companies offering a lot of cannabis products across the provinces in Canada, and there may not be a lot of room to grow that for Cronos. So they're going to have to look outside to really grow revenue and erase that loss even further from the last quarter. The positive quarterly report did resonate well with the company's share price. Immediately following its quarterly earnings report earlier in November, the share price for Cronos popped by more than 35%. It was short-lived, though. The stock fell another 5% over the last week, where it's priced about right now. So it's up, but it pared back and is not necessarily, it's kind of testing a high. The company's earnings per share jumped from near zero per share in 2018 to $3.76 a share in 2019. That's also very good. But in 2020, its earnings have been less than stellar. Its one-year earnings per share growth rate is a minus 92.3%. Now, the other concern I have here is just how volatile this stock is. If you look at the stock chart again, it'll tell you this stock has bounced all over the place in the last year. You can see there's highs, there's lows, it's going up, it's going down. There's not really a consistent upward or downward trend. And that comes along, and the drops basically are coming just as quickly as the rise. If you look at chief investment strategist Adam O'Dell's six-factor green zone ranking system, we see Cronos Group ranks as 65 overall. That means we're bullish on the stock, and we could see it outperform the broader market by 2 times over the next 12 months. However, what stands out to me is the fact the company is right in the middle in terms of momentum, where it scores a 50, a value, where it scores a 55, size, where it scores a 65, and quality, where it's at a 56. It is a strong growth stock, however. It does rank 95 on growth. Its volatility, as I mentioned before, is another factor that stands out. It ranks at 22 on volatility, which means it is extremely volatile. Putting all those factors together, I'm really hard-pressed to suggest Cronos Group as a buy for your portfolio right now. It's still very volatile. While sales are going up, its operating cash flow is still $159 million to the negative. I just don't see a sustained uptick in momentum that will really justify me utilizing Adam's principle of buying high and selling higher. It's just not there. That's not to say that it couldn't happen in the future, but now's just not the time. But I will say this, Cronos Group is going to be a stock I'm going to keep my eye on in the future, because I certainly think it's a company that has a lot of potential, and it could be one I could either place on the watch list or come back and do another weekly update and discuss how it is possible now that Cronos could be a buy for you in your investment portfolio. Now, I want to turn to our cannabis watch list on moneyandmarkets.com. Earlier this week, I came out with another edition of the watch list on the website. If you just go to moneyandmarkets.com, you can check it out. The company I put on the watch list for November is one I think is going to outperform the broader market by 2 times, if not more, over the next 12 months. It's a company that develops and sells hydroponic and gardening equipment, if you think lights, seeds, nutrients, filters, things like that. It saw record sales in 2019 of $80 million. It's a 175% increase from its 2018 totals. In the first quarter of 2020, the company reported sales of $33 million. 2 quarters later, those sales were $55 million. That's a 66% jump in just 3 quarters. And that means it's already surpassed the 2019 sales numbers in just the first 3 quarters of the year. So make sure you head over to moneymarkets.com, check out my latest addition to the Cannabis Watchlist. It is right there. You can see what company I've added. And I just want to mention our watchlist performance has been pretty strong to date. Turning Point Brands is the most recent addition to the list. I put that on the watch list last month. And it's a traditional tobacco company that started making products for the cannabis industry. So far, it's outperformed the rest of the cannabis industry, produced gains of more than 30% since I put it on the list just a month ago. That is huge gains for a company that is in tobacco and in cannabis. Schweitzer Malted International, another tobacco company, develops products for cannabis use. It's been a strong performer since I put it on the watch list in September. The company's share price has jumped more than 26%. Also, great in 2 months' time. It has grown that much. Perkin Elmer Incorporated tests various strains of cannabis for consumption. Since I put that on the watch list in September, the company shares are up more than 11%. Also, very, very good. Consider this, that the overall watch list is up more than 8% right now. And to compare that, the ETFMG Alternate Harvest ETF, which trades on the New York Stock Exchange under MJ, it's a popular ETF that invests in cannabis stocks, is up only 5%. So if you look at it, we've got 3 stocks on our watch list right now, 30%, 26%, 11%. All of those are outperforming one of the best performing ETFs in the cannabis market. Now, the 4th stock I have on there is Scott's Miracle-Gro. It's a popular fertilizer company. It's been hit by some adverse weather conditions in the Midwest, the West, and the South, but it is close to cracking positive territory. It's down just 1% at the last time I checked. So it is moving its way up. It was down as low as 9% about 2 weeks ago. So it is slowly making its way up, and I think it's going to be in positive territory here very, very soon. So again, the overall cannabis watch list up 8%. Compare that with the alternate harvest ETF, which is only up 5%. During that same time since September. So we are performing very, very well with our cannabis watch list. If you invested when I put those on the watch list, congratulations on your gains. That's really all from me this week for the Marijuana Market Update. Remember, the address, the email address you can send comments, questions, and stocks you'd like me to look at is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll try to display that right down here. If you're interested in listening to the Marijuana Market Update before anyone else, just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com. You're already there. Type in Money Markets. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. You'll get a notification bell that'll come up. Push that, and you'll be able to get notified each and every time we put out a video. And that includes our Bull and the Bear podcast and our week ahead. We usually post videos on YouTube about a day or so before they come out on moneyandmarkets.com. So you'll be able to get insider information first and foremost if you subscribe either via to our podcast channels or on YouTube. Also, I do want to make sure that you are going to moneyandmarkets.com, signing up for our daily free e-letter. In it, you'll see posts from like myself, our contributor Charles Sizemore, Chief Investment Strategist Adam O'Dell, Charter Market Technician Mike Carr, as well as the rest of the Money Markets team. We try to post and give you safe and profitable information each and every day, give you about 2 or 3 pieces every day that should lead you on the right path to building a very, very strong portfolio. Coming up this week, we'll have more on the Bull and the Bear podcast and our Money and Markets week ahead, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, check out moneymarkets.com, sign up for that free e-letter. Very easy to do. Just put in your email address. It is free, and who doesn't like that? And you get all this great information and access to all the content on our website. So I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, the host of the Bull and the Bear podcast and your Money Markets week ahead. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.